The economic management team has approved they have backed the proposal by the central bank governor. That's on another hand, but this time, remember the performance agreement contract which the president signed with the ministers? Well, yes, we're focusing on that matter again, and we're joined now by Elvis Agukwe, who is a public affairs analyst and former commissioner of information in Imo State. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Morning, viewers. Yeah, much as, yes, the president has gone ahead and signed that contract. And of course, we have heard people also say he's the one who's got this contract with Nigerian people. And so signing that contract, some people wonder, what is the essence of that contract? Because at the end of the day, you will be judged by what you've done in 4 years. And if that is not well done, they might as well make a statement with people's votes.
Well, I think the essence of the contract or agreement, performance agreement that the president has introduced is to ensure that his ministers are working. The ministers are up and doing. Gone are the days, like if you could remember when Mr. President was saying that, he said, I may have appointment with a minister and I'm not around. You know, so I should also take part of the blames for the minister not doing what the minister is supposed to do. And if you also look at the way things are going, some people have now had an obsession of trying to criticizing the president, even when it is not necessary, using things that should concern every member of our community, every citizen of Nigeria. And it appears we want to heap all the problems of the country on the president. And it is not fair. Even some of those who now make it an obsession have failed to also provide solutions. You have to also suggest ways to help the president work. And now president has come out to situate performance of his ministers. To now say, if I have given you this assignment, how have you performed? How are you carrying out the duties? And if you look at the issue of budget implementation, for instance, he has also made it clear that budget will have to be implemented. There's nowhere in the world where budget has been implemented 100%. And I also want to use this opportunity to acknowledge the efforts of the National Assembly by insisting that budget has to be implemented. It is for the good of the nation. What the president is now doing is to prove to the world that budget is being implemented. And he has asked his ministers, okay, I want you to tell me what you are doing. I want you to put it down in writing so that the whole world will see. I will see it myself and I will be able to say this is what you are doing. We know the buck stops on the president's table. But then he has gone a step further to ensure that everybody is carried along and people are doing their duties.
Well, Mr. Agukwe, if I should come in now, it looks like this has gone beyond just signing any document before the president, because the people, which is who are very important in all of this exercise, they should know the key performance indicator there. If it's not made public, you wouldn't know if Mr. A or Mr. B has been performing. I remember the last time Shamsuddin Usman came here, my colleagues asked him to actually let people know publicly so that we know what exactly we are looking out for. If you have a commissioner, you've been a commissioner before, if we say, okay, these are your key indicators for us to know if you're actually performing, the people should also be able to measure that along with the president.
In the case of what we are discussing right now, except a blind person will not see what is going on. I am of the view that Nigeria, if you could remember, was in a very bad situation, a very bad position when Mr. President took over. And I want to also acknowledge that the president is also keeping on some of the promises he has made to Nigerians.
Like which one?
Now the area, once upon a time, we used to have a stay for 5 days on petrol stations to get a fuel. Today, we have had relatively fair availability of products in this country. I want to be taken on that. The issue, for instance, of security. We have all criticized the president that security challenges is taking over in the country. But I want to say that the emergence of Boko Haram was not part of a presidential promise. It was not part of an electoral promise.
But
when Boko Haram came up,
it is inexcusable because whoever, sorry to butt in, because whoever is the president, no one should even be bringing such argument to say it's not part of what he promised the people. Because when you say, by extension, to protect lives and property of Nigerians, that's a promise you've already made. In fact, it's even worse because it's a pledge which he's taken an oath on.
Well, when security challenges come up, you take time to study the situation. We are not alone in this. You take time to study it, then you begin to solve it. Right now, when Boko Haram issue came up, we now see citizens who, out of frustration or misplacement of anger, are now going to commit suicide, bombing and killing their fellow citizens. We never had it before. And Mr. President has said, please, take it easy, come out. Let us discuss this matter. What are your problems? So you cannot say president is not taking on that matter. And I also want, if you look at we have lost series of officers, men of police force, the military and other sections of the security agencies.
Yeah, but isn't it an admission of, some say, failure if you actually put a timeline on when this problem will end? And when the time came and passed, you didn't talk about it. They seem to gloss over it as though they never said they were going to do it.
There's no way you will put a time lag. If you made projections, that let us hope that these things will be resolved.
Yeah, but the president
did.
No, he gave, by saying that, he has made a projection, maybe based on information that was given to him by security agencies. If he didn't meet the target, that is not to say there's a failure.
Is it not only proper that when you don't meet your target that you come out and say, we did not meet our target for so and so reason?
No, but he's marching on.
It.
We are on it. Have you also not acknowledged that the situation has calmed down somehow?
Well,
is it not clear?
It's sporadic. Today it's on, tomorrow it's off. Today it's on.
Well, it is the nature of the challenge itself, because we never had this kind of thing before, and today we thought maybe nobody ever thought a Nigerian could go to bomb himself or commit suicide openly. But today we are having that challenge. So it is something we all have to take time to resolve.
Now, going back to the issue of the contract, my colleague just asked, as to whether we shouldn't, as Nigerians, at least have a glimpse of the contract so that we can know what standards Mr. President intends to judge his ministers by. And especially in the face of the accusation that the press has been politicized. And, most people cannot rely on the press anymore.
Well, to some extent, that is now the position when people begin to use the press to say all kinds of things. Then we talk about politicizing the press. I also want us to be patriotic. I want us to look at the issues concerning our country from a patriotic point of view, not necessarily running, because the essence of criticism is to correct something that is being done either well or not being done well.
Not all the time.
It's not, fine, okay, not all the time. But when all the time we want to destroy a target, when all the time we are talking and what we are saying is remove this president,
I
pull
think
him down.